Would you rather live in Sailor Moon's universe or X-Men's universe?
And no follow-up questions, or we just answer?
I
answer
just
that.
had that
All right.
question. I'm gonna say Sailor Moon's universe because whatever's going on in their arena ain't got nothing to do with me. I feel like if the X-Men universe was real, which would make the Marvel universe real, or like if mutants existed, right? I feel like there's a high chance that I have to see myself on some side of that argument of like, are you pro mutant or no?
Is that a hard thing for you to?
It's not about me.
The opinions of Dan do not reflect
It's not about me.
opinions of
Dan was at CPAC.
Nope. That's not it. That's what I'm just saying. Like I feel like
was at CPAC, y'all.
I would have to align with some level of ideology for mutants to exist, and therefore I feel like after a while it becomes some of the conversation becomes my problem, right? Either like my safety, mental health, like what happens if I present like mutation, like
Is that hard?
what if my mutation like reduces me to a puddle?
Is water wet?
Is water wet?
Our viewers don't know what y'all are talking about.
But
is water wet, y'all?
But no, like what if it like horribly, makes me one of the non-pretty mutants, right? Like I'll never be on the X-Men other than the fact that they'd be like, hey, you matter. And I'm like, but I can't even form words anymore. I don't want to be that. I don't want to live in a world where like Sailor Moon, I still can be my own individual. They're not coming for me. Even if the villain is like, I'm going to destroy the world, it ain't, it's less of my problem. I still got a 9 to 5. Mutants, I feel like everybody start presenting the X gene. What happens if it's my family and I don't have like the emotional capabilities to support them? I'm like, oh baby, you got rocks for hands. Guess I gotta call this bald white man and see if he'll let you in your school. And he's like, I can't really utilize this child for war. So nah, I'm okay.
Interesting.
That is a very interesting take, man.
Yep.
You took it. You were ready for that.
I thought about this a lot.
I feel like this was not like these questions were not given before the recording, by the way. So,
oh boy!
But that's a good answer.
Matter of fact, here's a clip of what was before. And then we go to water to wet.
Do a flashback.
Wet water.
Let's not plan on the air, guys.
No.
My answer, actually, I was thinking that I would much rather be in the X-Men universe. I wasn't even thinking whether I'd be a mutant or not. I didn't think that far. But I was thinking in the Sailor Moon universe, the pedestrians and or just the public are constantly being turned into monsters, and
That's
it is
in
rare.
Japan, dog. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's a good point. But I mean, I'm just gonna assume just based off the Sailor Moon universe that we've seen, the public is just like, oh yeah, come see my demon cheerleading team. It's just like, and there's no Sailor Moon is like one of the only shows where you rarely see law enforcement, and there's no real interaction between the Guardians and law enforcement. Like, y'all are over here having a battle in the middle of the city, and there are no cops. Like the humans are just constantly being sacrificed and turned into monsters, and not really saved.
But you know what you don't see in Sailor Moon universe? Faces like mine having to be a part of all that.
I mean, true, but we are only going by what we see, right?
Exactly.
We can't just...
You know what I do see from the X-Men side? Faces like mine being doubly persecuted.
That's true, but if it's in Japan, you will. I mean, they freaking got a character named Black Lady in Sailor Moon, and she is not black. She is a Asian woman, I'm assuming, with pink hair, and her name is Black Lady. So we are not prioritized in that universe either. But I think I'd have a much better chance in the X-Men universe, whether I was a mutant or not. If anything, if I wasn't a mutant, I'd have these weird protections.
Do you
feel like you'd be an ally?
I don't. I mean, I think that would really depend. I mean, I'd love to hope that I would be, but also if there's some
Bad
Make America
mutants that-
Great Again bull that can stretch his arms down a block and punch me in the face, I may not really be down for those mutants. You know, it really
But
kind of
there's good
depends
mutants
on.
out there too.
There are good people on both sides.
I ain't see 'em.
Yeah. Okay, guys. There are good
Till
people
they
on
show
both
me.
sides.
I'll tell you who's not a good
true.
one. Charles Xavier. Anyway, proceed. You didn't answer the question.
Well, it's very interesting because the character called Black Lady. I wonder if that is a cultural thing in the same way that there was Black Goku, and that it was like that's just how they.
He just alt.
That's how they just determine who's like the wrong character, or,
Right,
like,
'cause
or
Black is
the
bad.
odd character.
Black is essentially bad in these shows.
Sure.
And in Philadelphia.
I don't think they go as far as to say like Black people.
Oh no. It's just the idea that darkness is bad in every way,
Especially if it's on your skin.
especially if it's on your damn skin.
I think that's a different episode. But
Oh yeah, we should.
We just came
That's a
back.
good idea.
I would do X-Men.
Color
Okay.
black.
I do X-Men universe.
You run the gamut and just see what if, right?
I mean,
Like, what if you get healing powers, but at like the cost of, your face constantly is melting off. Jackets, right?
Maybe you'll have no power. Maybe you won't be a mutant.
yeah, just
And then you just be some like right wing elitist who's just like, they gotta go.
could
Build-
be,
build
or I
robots.
could just be living my life, man.
That's true.
Until some mutant shows up at your door, on some rampage because they can't control their powers because they didn't go to that one fancy school
That's
where
a
they
good point.
weaponize kids.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Now to think about it,
Sure.
what about the people that can't control or don't or want to use it for?
I mean,
I think everybody deals with trauma differently,
sure.
and so just because that might be how you respond,
I'm only
to what
I'm only
happens.
based. This is because I have much more knowledge about the X-Men universe than I do Sailor Moon. So all
Fair.
I know is that people don't look like me over there. So I don't feel like I'm a big target. X-Men, if you didn't get picked by Charles Xavier, you had to go live in sewers.
Yeah.
Until Magneto was like, we don't need you to fight, but I'd love for you to join my cause. So you only really had three choices, which was like hide in obscurity or be tested on, and then like pick between the two powerful mutants that felt like they could weaponize your
gang
abilities.
signs.
Or we could just kill all y'all. We could kill
You don't
Xavier and
see-
Magneto.
You
That's
don't-
y'all.
Yeah.
I don't like
But-
either of y'all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of the blur were to see pack.
No. But there's the intro.
We're a family. Aren't we so dysfunctional?
I feel like you keep dropping the lead there, but I would like to say we're back, y'all.
We're back.
How you been? You already heard what's already happening here, so I'd like to formally introduce myself because, as you can see, the layout is different, the mood is different, the
Rustic.
vibe is different,
Much more chill.
and they call me Big Dan,
Big damn.
Rodan. I'm coming to you live from the 215 or the 267, whichever one you prefer. If I was another mile over, it'd be 484. But
oh yeah, 610.
or 610. These wild times. But I'm the comic book connoisseur, your Somali of sci-fi and superheroes, here to welcome you to the episode of season 6 of the Blurred Bar. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're very chill today.
I'm never by myself
Never.
because Cobb is always here.
QC.
She never leaves.
QC.
How you been?
It's cool.
Talk to him.
Where do I start?
Oh no.
I am
You start
Queen
over.
Cobb. Oh, I can start over.
Oh,
That was a good
no.
one. I'm Queen Cobb,
Yes, she
but
is.
you can call me QC while I figure out what that stands for.
Queen Cobb.
I am the video game Ventress. I'm Queen Anti-Flex. I am Sony's interim executive producer.
Don't Google it. It's not real.
Don't Google. Oh, with executive privileges, by the way.
Mm.
I'm the support character with boundaries.
With boundaries.
And your favorite contrarian and devil's advocate. Coming at you live with this new season. Is water wet?
Are we just going to ask that question?
I think
which fits perfectly with it.
It's funny.
Do we ask that question all season long?
I think that question needs to be asked. I need people to rally by my side.
Raise the banners.
Let's see how that goes. We'll do a poll all season long and just see what we get at the end.
I don't mind people confirming my validating my correctness.
Sure.
Do you mind people denying it?
Right.
I welcome that too, because it would be boring if everybody agreed.
Fair enough.
Right? Wouldn't that be so boring?
Who can say?
But let's not forget.
Let's not forget
who's over
Let's
there.
I forget Gethsemane.
Okay. Nope.
Yo, it's the last descendant of Yasuke. Sub overdub for all anime.
Yep.
The salsa dancing ninja who stays on his toes. He always has a sake flight ready to go. It's your boy Hawkins Hanzo.
J-Hawk.
Like Hanzo from Overwatch?
No, Hanzo from like Samurai Showdown and or just Hatari Hanzo.
I got you. But not Overwatch.
All right. So
what's up, y'all?
How y'all been? We've been gone for a minute. We've been working on some things, and we will get into that by the time we wrap up this episode. But
we're a family.
We are a family. New logos.
Oh yes.
And new merch will be on the way. New set.
New ideas.
Definitely new ideas.
New
endeavors. I'm really excited to do this season. And we actually put in the work, had some deep conversations. So I'm hoping that the end result is quality content and cocktails.
QC.
And culture.
CC.
All those things.
All
that's
those
QC.
things.
You just found me.
What was it?
You said quality content.
Mm-hmm.
QC.
There you go.
That's who I am. I've just been realized.
Quality content.
This season's gonna be great.
It's gonna be lit.
I found myself in the first episode.
The best time to do
and
it.
I'm gonna lose myself by the end of it. I'm going to lose my sense of self.
You guys been watching anything recently? I mean, we've been going for a minute, so a lot of things have definitely happened. Chris Rock said things.
I didn't watch that yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I did hear that.
I haven't watched it, but I heard it.
I hear it didn't go so well for the viewers.
I heard mixed reviews.
Okay.
Marvel movies have come out. Creed 3's came out. There's so many things happening.
More Marvel movies will be coming out.
Always.
How do you navigate that queue? Find out next. Just
there'll be an episode to talk about it. There's been so much stuff. And even just in life in general, I feel like I probably haven't unpacked it healthily, but it's happened.
Okay.
CPAC happened, as Josh has said already. We didn't go.
Well, what have you been watching? What have you been prioritizing?
What have I been prioritizing? The Blurred Bar. Actually.
Yes.
Like I said, we've been in meetings. This is the first time since we've started this that we've actually been invited to other people's meetings.
That's major.
So I think this is the year that we're going to really try to hunker down and hammer some things out and show our faces because we're allowed to go outside now. So
yay! But what are we talking about tonight?
What are we talking about?
We're a family.
We are a family. This is a weird dysfunctional family.
Brady Bunch.
Dysfunctional?
But
really?
I feel like we could be considered dysfunctional, right?
Really?
If we were all siblings, I don't think one of us would be considered the favorite. It wouldn't be me.
Wouldn't be me. I'm a girl. We're never the favorites.
So it's probably Josh.
It's Josh.
I feel like he doesn't talk back. If we all had the same parents, you would be the least to talk back.
You talk back?
No.
Okay.
But I'm also just there's just disappointing factors, right?
Nah, if we're talking about talk back factor, I think
Oh,
you would be the
you
favorite.
talk back?
Everybody has to learn somehow.
Right.
So-
Otherwise, what are the beatings for?
Right, exactly. And that's
It's
fine.
character development.
Exactly.
Now I see why this is a dysfunctional family. I didn't see it at first. So the definition.
What do you mean? I'm fine.
Another one, another clue.
Look
So
how I turned out.
a dysfunctional family or a functional family is loosely defined as, I mean, I didn't look it up, but I'm gonna just say like a family that kind of works, right?
See, but if it were, what's the saying? If you like it, I love it.
Is it?
So there's some people out here that operate functionally in their dysfunction.
I mean, sort of, I think that these families that are quote unquote dysfunctional survive the best that they can despite people's personalities or despite the resources that they have. I think that the environment, I think people still will survive and do the best that they can despite it. But I think like a functional family, quote unquote functional family, exists with these certain qualities where family members feel heard, they feel safe and protected, they work through conflict in a way that's healthy. It's not to say that there aren't problems, but sort of like the way that they're addressed are done in a much more healthy, pro-social way versus a way where a quote-unquote dysfunctional family may work through issues in a way that is harmful or may isolate people or make people feel bad.
But who sets that standard, right?
That's a good question.
That's society's standard.
Or
And
whatever
society's
culture.
opinion on functional shifts.
True.
And has shifted.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't get married until I was 35 to, a 12-year-old. And that's not functional now in society. And it's
not in
wrong.
this culture, no. But maybe in another culture that may be completely normal and functional.
A society may deem that functional.
Yes.
And so, we can only go by Western standards currently as the temperature is. And
but we can be open to I don't know anything. I'm kind of dumb. So I don't really know much about other cultures. So I'm thinking through a very Western Black family system. So today, with the awareness that this isn't the only one. So today's episode is really focused on if you had the ability, because most of us, we can't choose our family until we can, right? And for many people, that can take a very long time.
I wouldn't trade my family for anything.
That sounds like a dysfunctional family perspective to even say something like that.
That sounds like your perspective is dysfunctional.
I mean, if you always got to say, I love my family, or it's all about the family, that makes me wonder, are y'all really that functional? But we'll talk about more on that later.
Not.
Or not. No.
I will turn into myself and leave it at that I love my family. Because why take on the conflict? Anyway, dysfunctional families. I feel like we had a few picks just throughout media.
Yeah, so we're going to choose, right? If we had the ability to choose our family based on fictional characters in media, we're going to talk about what would make up our the perfect dysfunctional family, and also who those family members will be, and our perfect functional family and what characters will fulfill those roles. So that is the job today. So the first idea is to pick your dysfunctional family. What characters in media would make up the perfect, shot out, unhealthy, nasty family?
I'm gonna stay in the comic book.
Mines are really mild.
I'm gonna stay in the comic book realm for mine.
Fair.
Just because
you have a lot of dysfunction there.
Ain't it though?
Got a lot to pull from.
You can name whichever. It doesn't have to be mom. It doesn't have to be this heteronormative mom, dad, sister, brother. It can be whatever family members you want it to be. So, Dan, would you like to start with your dysfunctional family?
Dysfunctional. So, I felt like I had a pretty good dad, so it was easy to find the negatives in a lot of other dads in comic books. But I'm going to go with Odin as a dysfunctional dad.
Okay.
Mans was trash. He still is.
Okay. Who else you got?
I feel like I had a pretty good mom, and so as a polar opposite, Mystique
Okay.
Garbage.
Oh boy.
I feel like she was a bad mom.
Okay.
Now, if I had to go, I'm going with the structural, $1 million family, right? Mom, dad, brother, sister. So for a dysfunctional brother, I'm gonna go with Barry Allen.
Who is Barry Allen for
The
folks?
Flash.
The Flash would be your brother. Would he be your older brother, your younger
I'm
brother?
gonna say older brother.
Okay.
Right? Like there's a lot of like just I gotta be good at what I'm doing and keep mom and dad happy and off my back. So I run from a lot of my problems.
Okay.
And I have the capability of still making sure that I'm the spotlight in the family. So he'd be like, everyone's like, oh, how's your brother, the Flash? And, you're very like not special.
You said that. You said that you're not special.
I know where I stand. Because in that world, I would not be special. Here,
very special.
It's my house. I'm very, yep. So,
any other family members?
I'm gonna say as a dysfunctional sister, I couldn't shake it. I wanted to. I was like, Mary Jane would be a very bad sister.
Should she be an older sister?
Younger sister.
Younger sister.
Right? She still wants her place in the world. So out of the three of us, it'd be Barry, me, and then Mary Jane would just be like, she's got to put on airs. She wants to be seen. She wants to be validated.
What's so dysfunctional about that?
Because, it's just like she'll do at any cost. She'll go for it. Right? I want to be a model. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actress. I want to work for somebody really prolific just so that my name is remembered and seen and validated. And rather than just being wrapped up in the fact that, her value is that she's a human being. And
she sounds like she has goals.
Hey,
sure.
we're not arguing.
But that's what I said.
We'll save that for he was the brave first one. Okay.
Sure. I went first.
Save
and obviously I'm going to throw in my dysfunction in there. It's a lot of.
You don't have to throw in your dysfunction.
Sure. Okay. We don't have to talk
perfect
about it.
little stars.
No, I know the truth. I'd be upstairs playing with my Legos. And they're just like, when are you ever going to move out of mom and dad's house? And I'm like, no.
You're projecting.
I am.
Is that?
Nope.
Okay. Projecting is encouraged and welcomed, but not required.
All right. That's my pick, and I'm done with that. Take the camera off of me.
Would you like me to go, or you would like to go?
I'll go.
All right.
So I thought of it as a sitcom dysfunctional family.
Okay. More like funny and less therapy.
In comparison to yours, yeah.
I heard dysfunction. I was like, maybe this is a good time to heal.
Yes.
Okay.
Therapy is expensive.
For my dad role, I have Kenpachi.
From Bleach?
Okay.
I think he would be a horrible dad. Funny in a sitcom though.
Like just hijinks in general.
Just craziness. For the mom, I have Ryoko from Tenchi Muyo.
Okay. I'm
was
really trying to play it back in my head.
She was the space pirate.
Okay.
Also very sexualized.
That could be dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
Got a mom with the OnlyFans. You getting picked on.
That could be functional.
I just said you getting picked on.
Okay.
That's the dysfunctional part. I'm not judging if she got an OnlyFans. I'm just saying.
Older sister, Sailor Jupiter.
All right.
She throw hands.
Slightly older brother, Shinji.
What a great pick.
And younger brother, Killua.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh, what a responsibility. For that to be the baby? Yep. That's a bit dysfunctional.
Yep.
Sailor Jupiter gonna have to throw them hands
all the time.
As the oldest child? All right. Oh yeah, we've got it under control.
And then Killua's just got like this Napoleon complex because he's the youngest.
Yeah, that's why you need like a Sailor Jupiter to just.
And Shinji's the middle child.
And so you were very intentional about this.
This would be a lot of hijinks on the show, though.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could get past the first season though. It'd just be like
too chaotic.
Yeah,
that'd be awful.
We wouldn't watch your show.
I'm not saying we wouldn't. I'm saying we couldn't get past the first season.
We could if they put a laugh track behind it.
I think there would be a laugh track.
And it'd be like the weird strumming of the banjo of the 90s.
Oh my god. That would make it slightly more digestible. That would make the trauma a little bit more digestible.
Just that lick of the bass.
So my dysfunctional family. My grandmother would be Mama from A Promised Neverland.
I've not seen that, but I've heard good things.
No, not Mama though.
My grandfather would be
she's straight up villain.
Gendo Ikari.
That's a good pick.
My mother would be Sora's mom from Kingdom Hearts. One line, the entire series. Sora, dinner's ready. Come on down. Sora. That's it.
So she's just like every other.
That would be my mom. Yep.
Cool.
My auntie would be Alma Rice, who is Historia Rice's mother from Attack on Titan. My uncle would be Overhaul from My Hero Academia.
Huh.
My dad would be Shao Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Well,
that would be my dysfunctional dad. My pet.
Is he Scar?
No, Shao Tucker is. You'll know who he is when I tell you who my pet sister is. My pet sister is Nina/Alexander. From Full Metal Alchemist. That will be my dog and my sister. And my siblings.
You are a villain.
Would be Seto Kaiba and Edward Elric as my siblings.
I didn't think this way at all.
What way is that?
Seto Kaiba?
He would be my dysfunctional brother, and as would Edward Elric.
I would want nothing to do with that thing.
We can talk about it after we're done our picks.
That's interesting.
That is my dysfunctional family.
You know what? In that scenario with Seto Kaiba being his older brother, yeah.
And also dealing with the fact that his pet sister.
That would be his rival.
Yeah.
They would be like pitted against each other.
That's
Seto Kaiba and Edward. They would...
I didn't think of that. I didn't think that far about how they would. I was more so thinking about like with me sort of being I guess maybe the middle child or something. Sure. But yeah, Seto Kaiba doesn't really get along with anybody, and Edward Elric is too hard-headed.
I feel like
he always trying to stand up for somebody. So like
yeah.
I feel like CPS would be called on your family immediately.
Definitely. Well, first of all, my dog wouldn't last much.
From that household so fast.
Yes, my dog would be. That would be the first giveaway. Is my damn dog.
And like he probably would get away with it too. Oh. And like Western, how you gonna prove that he like?
Family pictures.
Oh yes. First I had a sister, then I had a dog.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Like, oh god, you need to be like a top tier lawyer for that one.
So, question for y'all: how did y'all choose y'all dysfunctional family? Like, what? How did you like come to this conclusion?
I think like when picking the parents for me, it was for what I often view as dysfunction is like an unhealthy expectation of parents placed on their children. Odin is notorious for doing that with his kids. So much so that he thinks he's pushing them to be better when it's really like, you're making it worse. Like he's pushed them so far past their breaking points, they don't even have a sense of identity anymore. And so that's when I was like, that's, to me, is dysfunction. And as now being a dad myself, like it's always like kind of pulling the reins back on like expectations. Because if you force a child to grow up prior to when they're ready, you're not helping. Like I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I keep expecting my 1-year-old to be mature enough to be like, not freak out when I say no. But I'm like, I have a 1-year-old. Like, what am I doing? But and then Mystique is just like it. She puts on airs, right? Like I feel like to the outside world, she can be whoever she wants to be, and then at home, she's still this monster of a person, and that's dysfunctional.
That feels dysfunctional to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can be all these people, but you can't be my mom.
Right.
You don't even know how to be a person at home.
Yeah. And she also like threw my stepbrother off
really
like a cliff because he was blue. So
Not blue.
he was.
Those blues.
The blue people. But yeah, that's where I got that from.
Very interesting. I think I may have picked mine because I kind of see families as like in this binary way where like if one parent is this way, then the other parent may be kind of like an opposite. Even though I know that that's not true in reality, but I kind of picked mine based off of that. So I know that Mama from A Promised Neverland is until we find out what we find out, she's very loving and involved. Gendo, or is it Gendo or Gendo?
It's
Gendo is not at all. He's very detached from his child and more attached to his work, and shows care for his son by way of his explanation is what he's doing for work is for the benefit of the world, therefore his son, and that's all he needs to do. And so they both care in a way, but it's in very different ways. So I was kind of picking my answers based on that, where Sora's mom is not at all involved. She says one line, and Overhaul is just Overhaul. He's just kind of in it. Like, so I tried to pick like opposites because that's kind of sometimes how I see mother, father, brother, sister, even though we know that that's not necessarily the truth. So I see that for both functional and dysfunctional. So that's kind of how I was picking my mom based off of how I picked my dad. It's funny how even when you can choose your family, you're still choosing it based off of this code that you have. There's no imagination. It still kind of follows that same framework that even when you're given the option to choose. Like I could have chose Sora and Midoriya, the two of the most positive people, to be my parents, but instead I had to choose a character that's very positive and maybe a character that's very negative.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to pick Gendo, but because I had already picked Shinji, I was like, I can't. I mean, we already seen how that plays out, right?
We already saw how that played out.
But it's interesting because I just picked people who had bad traits. Like, and it's just like, these people would not, like, obviously, like, we don't see Ryoko ever have a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
at best, she has a pet cat bunny, space bunny thing. Kenpachi never really has a kid. He has, I don't know if this is a spoiler, so I'm not, but, like, he doesn't have a kid. He takes care of someone, and like even the person that he's taking care of can very well take care of themselves, right? And so like, how would he be with a Shinji? Probably wouldn't work out well for him.
No, not at all.
Right? And so then with Sailor Jupiter, she's actually the one piece of slightly good that could probably wrap things together, especially since I'm thinking of it in a sitcom way, where it's like, okay, I will defend our honor as a family because of the BS that you got into, Killua, but afterwards I'm going to beat you up because you put me in this situation, right? So like, it's very different. And Shinji, he just be moping, right? Like he's gonna get picked on, and that's why Sailor Jupiter has to like come to his defense, because he don't have the backbone that Killua has. Killua got too much of a backbone. Killua out here, he's probably with the bullies that's bullying Shinji, and it's just
or there's no other bullies around, right?
It's like, just Killua.
It's just Killua. It's just.
But
just
even then, he just stops being a bully once he gets rid of all the other bullies, and parents are like, "Hey, have you seen my child?"
Or he doesn't allow for it. He'll if any bullies try to come bully Shinji, Killua will beat up the bullies and then bully Shinji.
Yeah,
right. It's it's all a very funny, dysfunctional family, but like
funny is a red flag.
Yeah, just the most interesting qualities.
Just need that bass lick in the background and laugh track. Boom.
Interesting that you put a lot of responsibility and you describe the traits of the children more than you do the parents, like saying like Sailor Jupiter is sort of what her abilities, like how her strengths sort of play into keeping things together, and how that's typically what we do. We expect of children, where we kind of have this thing where we kind of expect children to kind of take care of the families in some ways without really putting a lot of the burden on the parents.
Well, this is a dysfunctional family.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even when we seem to know dysfunction so well that even when we're given the choice to choose our family, it still follows that framework that we know so well.
One thing I think
it's not dysfunctional in another way. It's dysfunctional in the way that we all like know.
It's a very like lateral,
it's familiar.
But I think it's also because we're adults now, and so when you learn that like parents are just playing this off the cuff, like it's just a giant ad lib of just parenting, and I can tell you as a parent, like there's 1,000 books, and if there's 1,000 books on any topic, that means no one knows what they're doing. That's how I look at it.
Parenting is just like, it just seems
but that's how I approach this. It's
the
just
ultimate
like
RPG. Yo.
There's
like no right or. I mean, there are plenty of wrong ways.
It's definitely a lot of choices to play it wrong, and you don't get to start over. So,
oh boy.
And I think that's kind of how I
start over.
But I think that's how I approach this. Is like my responsibility is more to my siblings, and recognizing that the dysfunction can stop with our generation. And so, the parents only did either the best they could or chose not to. And then,
good point.
You're the progeny. And so it's up to you to stop the buck. And if you don't, then that's, your call and your kids will be messed up. But,
dysfunction.
I don't operate based on the whole, like, unresolved trauma from parents type vibe. I can't live that life. One, now because I have children of my own, and so I can only address what I feel is problematic and how I become a parent or how I address my parenting style. And that's how I go about it.
I like that.
Because when I'm in my 30s, I can't keep blaming somebody else now for who I am as a person.
Or you can.
Nope. I got bills to pay.
You can do both.
I can't afford it because I got bills to pay.
I'll complain and pay this electric bill.
So funny.
But yeah, what about functional families? Because I'm curious about
this is going to be harder.
Or not.
We can't think of that.
I mean, if you recognize that everything has a flaw.
I don't know what that is. A functional family.
I guess I'll go.
I picked guts. Good. So no, go ahead.
No.
Buffering.
I shut down for a second. I didn't know what to do.
Who is your functional family?
So I went outside of the comic book wheelhouse mainly because every parent in comic books is traumatizing. But for mom, I went with Aunt May. Just because like it wasn't even her kid anymore. And anyway, she was still putting in that work.
Why can't Aunt May be the aunt?
I'm gonna go with just May Parker.
May Parker?
Call her by
she's the mom.
Because she's not an aunt in this. She's the mom in the scenario.
So she's not.
I'm gonna go with Jin Darin, the Mandalorian, as the dad.
Okay.
He's protective. He recognizes his mistakes, but he's like, nah, that's my family. Functional siblings, because I feel like growing up with anybody, you get to see all the dirt, and so you may not deem them functional after that. But yeah, that's a tough call. Because when I was thinking about this list, I was like, I don't think I can think of functional siblings because they're growing up with you. But
you could cop out and say I'm an only child.
I don't want to do that. I feel like there's definitely functional siblings, right?
Definitely. They're just fictional.
They are. Guess I'll jump to anime. Deku Midoriya. He's functional as a sibling. I feel like
Interesting.
he's just got a good heart.
He does.
And then I'm going to say Toph as a good sister.
Is that from Avatar?
Last Airbender.
Okay. As a sister.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because even despite her disabilities, she only wants to see people be their best. And I think that would motivate me to be a good brother to her. Like, I wouldn't have to worry about being a defensive brother. Like, I wouldn't have to protect her because she's already opened up to me that she can take care of herself. And she just wants me to be better alongside.
I see.
Interesting.
That's how I looked at it.
Because you put her as the smallest one, so there's nobody.
No, I would say like
her
no.
For
she just does what she got to do for her. And she's like, I don't need anyone to take care of me because I know what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of. She's very self-aware about her strengths and weaknesses.
You sound like you're conflicted by that.
I'm taking the good about this character.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm also recognizing that if we're siblings, I know where this person falls short. So that's how I went with, I can't expect perfection from a family.
No,
Fair.
Not at all.
I could have picked you, Josh, but
Oh, that would mean that you're saying that Josh is fictional.
Yeah, the fictional Josh is lit.
Yeah, he's probably problematic.
He's probably less problematic.
No, I didn't say anything.
He'd probably be in the dysfunctional. For functional families, unless you wanted to go.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, for functional families, the mom, I have Yor from Spy X Family.
Oh.
Interesting.
Even though she's lying.
That's the premise.
That's the premise.
That's functional.
For the dad, I have Tenchi Muyo.
The kid?
I mean,
he'll be an adult eventually.
Yeah.
All right.
Timelines be messy like that.
I feel like you picked somebody who was like.
No, I didn't mean kid as in like age. I meant like that kid, like that dude.
Yeah.
No.
Average guy. He literally was an average dude. Well,
I mean, that's the premise. Isn't that the premise of that kind of anime?
Well, he also was not. In the same way that Tuxedo Mask was an average guy until he's like, oh, you're the reincarnation of the Moon King.
Of this bull. Of this bull that also does nothing.
Yeah. Detective Conan as little brother.
Oh, okay.
I like these picks.
So a grown man in his baby's body.
Well, we'd all be grown up now, right? If we're...
He'd still be... You know how long Detective Conan has been on and he's still a baby?
Yeah. Inoue from Bleach. As older sister.
Okay. I'm not going to pretend like I know who that is.
Orange hair. The only girl who's not a Shinigami.
Like the main girl?
Nah. Orohime.
Orohime.
Yeah, Orohime.
Okay, yeah. The one with them Jones.
I didn't want to say it. I was trying to say everything but
them
that.
big Jones.
But
couldn't she like see them or something? Like she could sense them really well? Like she had the ability to sense?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
She just had them Jones.
Shit. And then Ash Ketchum as older. He's older than Detective Conan, but younger than Orihime.
Okay.
And younger than you?
Probably.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've been 10 for the last 30 years. So.
Yeah. Interesting answer. I would not have expected some of those.
Ash, huh?
Functional family.
Okay.
Really quick. My grandmother is going to be Professor McGonagall.
I get it. Harry Potter.
From Harry Potter.
Oh.
Make sure y'all bleep that out. So that lady don't pocket nothing.
Sorry.
My grandfather will be Maze Hughes from Fullmetal Alchemist. My step-grandfather, since we already know the fate of Maze Hughes, will be Sig Curtis, who is Izumi Curtis is husband, like the teacher, like Ed and Al's teacher, like her husband, like the big softball.
I got it.
For the viewers.
For the viewers.
My mom, a lot of Full Metal Alchemist references here. My mom will be Olivier Mira Armstrong, Major General Armstrong, that lady.
Word. Functional, though.
Functional.
Got you.
My dad will be Ishin Kurosaki, so Ichigo's dad. My younger siblings will be Mikasa and Armin. They're going to be twins.
Functional, though.
Functional.
Okay. I just want to keep checking in with you.
My older brother will be Rengoku from Demon Slayer.
Functional.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
He's the best guy. He's the best dude. My play brother will be Killua. My husband will be Senku from Dr. Stone.
Wait, you can't speed past that.
I said my play brother will be Killua.
Your play brother?
We not related, but he
like your
rides.
best friend.
Yeah, like my boy. My husband will be Senku from Dr. Stone. My paramour, my mistress, that's a bull, will be Guts from Berserk.
This
functional?
This is
functional.
All right, open relationship.
Sure.
My pet will be Luna from Sailor Moon. My uncle and cousin will be Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. And finally, my best friend will be Samwise Gamgee.
Where is he?
Functional. From Lord of the Rings.
Samwise
Gamgee will be my best friend.
I don't know why I didn't pick Samwise, but I couldn't pick him as my brother.
I
feel
thought
like I would bully the crap.
Yeah, I would just give him the worst, give him the business. But I thought very
in a loving way.
I was
a loving, functional.
But I love you though. It's functional. And again, I use the same sort of format of if I'm gonna have like a strong, overwhelming mom, then I need to kind of have like a bit of a timid dad to deal with that personality of the mom. So
that's interesting though, because Ishin is still like, yes, she will be very overbearing, but it's only because he knows, like, I mean, if push, he's very comfortable in his masculinity,
where he won't feel threatened by her.
He won't feel threatened by her. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And same thing about like Sig Curtis, who's like really soft and caring, but he's huge and very strong, versus like maybe a Professor McGonagall whose personality and is so overbearing that you need someone that can kind of deal with that and not compete with it and just kind of live in harmony. And that would be functional, is what I would hope.
Is what you would hope?
Is what I would hope, because you kind of need, like, you know, one family member can be like, I make the decisions, grr, and the other one's like, all right, man, go ahead, make the decision. Or like, you got that. Or can you make the decisions? Or, you know, at least that's kind of how I would hope it would work in a functional family.
Gotcha.
That's interesting.
This was eye-opening. That's functional list.
Functional. And also, like, the paramour has to be opposite of the partner. So at first I was thinking my husband should be like Light Yagami. And my paramour, no, in dysfunctional, my husband would have been Light Yagami, and the mistress, that's a bull, would be the yellow haired bull from Demon Slayer.
Sleepy bull?
Yes. Like, he has to be like an idiot.
I remember his name.
I feel like it's Zengetsu.
Zenitsu. He would have to be the one that I'm cheating on Light Yagami for. Same while
functional though.
No, that would be dysfunctional.
Oh,
I didn't say it, but that's why, like, my husband would be Senku and the paramour would be Guts, where it's like Senku would be like, him?
Okay.
Functional. Meaning I have to cheat with someone that's not very functional. And
but are you functional?
Wait, are you
good
cheating?
Question. Listen, functional.
But that didn't answer the question.
Right.
Because at first it's like, if you're in an open relationship, functional. But you said cheating.
Functional. I just said the family was functional. I didn't say I was. Okay. Which is why we didn't name ourselves in this, right? We are
That's what I asked, if you were functional.
That doesn't matter, right? We're identifying our functional family.
But everybody else is functional.
Everyone else is functional, and I might be.
So this is literally a case of like, am I the drama?
I think am I the drama?
Like,
it is an opportunity for us to not focus so much on ourselves.
That's you're absolutely right.
Am I the therapy?
Hey, so
depending on your family,
you said functional.
Functional.
We start and stop there. Listen, this has been fun. Tell us how you feel about not our picks, because it's none of your business. We picked them, but You can tell us your picks.
Who would be your
And-
mom? Who
Yeah.
would be your dad?
Who would be a functional?
Who would be your paramore?
Who would be your
all
paramore?
of those things. I mean, because if you got a paramore, it's functional. I didn't know, but now I know. The more you know. Listen, we're doing big things this year. This season, actually. By the time that you've reached the end of this season, we will have been to our first convention as a guest.
If not before.
No, it'll be the last episode. But apparently, calendars be calendaring.
We're
But
just people.
it's a free event.
It's free.
It's a free convention, family friendly. You should be there.
Yes.
We would like to see you there. We'd like to talk to you.
I'd
We'd
like
like
to
to
talk
give you a
to you.
high five. Unfortunately, we got listeners in Singapore, and they
No,
can't.
come through.
But if you're able to get a ticket,
Pull up.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We'd love to see you too.
At
What
least
is
you
it?
know the
It's
convention
going
is
to
free.
be Philly OtakuCon
Yep.
Philly Otaku Con.
Yeah. at Cherry Street Pier, April 14th to the 16th.
Yep.
We will be posting a bunch of promotional stuff in between now and then. We'll have merch ready. We're going to have a store up very soon where you can order merch. And if you really think we're famous enough, we can sign it for you. I don't think that's a point of context, but my signature is nondescript, so it doesn't matter.
Do we have any items?
We do have a quest item.
Quest item.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing back quest items.
Quest
and I want to see what
items.
your checklist looks like at the end of the season. We have the Orb of Function. It's a magical orb of function that allows the user to see what function and dysfunction looks like on anything that you direct the orb to. Both hidden and visible objects.
What if
And
you
you
were to
can
put?
see the dysfunction in it or the function.
What if you were to put the orb near water?
Would it be wet? Would it be dry? That's right. We are polling you guys for the rest of the season to tell us whether or not you think water is
I
wet.
don't know why he's laughing.
Because
is a real
there's
question.
no argument here.
It is an argument.
It shouldn't be. Josh, how do you feel about it?
I
Is
feel
water
like
wet?
we've reached the end of this episode.
Okay.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
As we always like to say here, y'all have a blessed night. Peace out.